Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ultimate Coach Facebook page. This is a Sunday noon live talk about being. And I'm Lisa Neller. I'm going to share my story with you so that you can get to know me a little bit better. It's going to sound a little bit like EPEX yesterday. If you listen to EPEX introduction, she talked about herself and how she became involved in the Ultimate Coach Facebook page. And I'm going to do the same thing, and I will be here on Sundays at noon. So I'm excited to be able to share my thoughts about being and what I'm learning. And I'll go ahead and get started. So, again, Lisa Neller is my name. The K is silent. And I'm originally from Chicago. I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, and in 1983, I moved to Arizona to be near my boyfriend, who eventually became my husband. And I am an insight and mind management coach. I like to consider myself a thinking partner. And as such, I create programs for people to connect with me on a deeper level. Things like life mastery masterminds, life by design masterminds, and love mastery through the art of being. I do those, and I do some journaling things, and soon I think I'm going to teach a little bit on the Enneagram. I'm excited about that. I have a podcast called My Golden Life. It is a podcast for women in the second half of life who want to live courageously with purpose, passion, and positivity in mind, body, and spirit. So that keeps me busy also. I have been a yoga teacher for over 20 years, and I've been in personal development for over 30 years. And I have experience in advertising, direct sales, higher education, marriage, and parenting. My greatest roles are as wife to my husband of 38 years, plus we dated for 8, so that's a long time to be together. And we were friends before that. So we grew up together, really. And we have 2 amazing children. My daughter is a trauma therapist here in Phoenix. She's got one son and a daughter on the way. So we're grandparents and very blessed to be so. We also have a son who lives in Chicago, ironically. He's in IT. He's also a sketch comedy artist and in digital film. Fun fact about me and our family is that our kids were born on the same date, exactly 3 years apart. So we call them the birthday twins, Lauren and Michael. And we love spending time with them. So I want to talk about how I got involved in the Ultimate Coach Facebook group. And I'm going to start at the beginning in 2020 when I was going through a coaching certification program with a man by the name of John Strasser. It was called the Insight Coaching Academy. It was really an extraordinary program. And I want to highlight some of the people that were in that program with me who are also very active in this group, and Epec Williamson being one of them, and Christina Parkhurst, and Joan Claire Gilbert, and Tanya Alvarez. And then a member of this group who's not quite as active, but who's a close friend of mine, Colleen McCloskey, and she's been an extraordinary support of encouragement throughout the last 4 years for me since our coaching program. So in that program, we were introduced to Steve Hardison through the TBOLIT NFL. I'm trying to memorize that. That story about Deuce Latouille. So we saw that video, and somehow I think we friended Steve Hardison on Facebook, and then he invited many of us to read the transcript of The Ultimate Coach before it became published as a book. So we got this transcript and we read through it, and then we discarded it because we promised we would. And then the book came out, was published. We got a copy of it. And then there was this event in Chandler, Arizona. It was the very first Ultimate Coach experience led by Judy Thurston. She coordinated that event. And so we went to that event, a bunch of us. And at that event, we met Eric Lofholm. Now, I didn't actually meet Eric at the event, but he was there. He was on stage. He spoke. And I think it was that event where he committed to running the Facebook page for Steve for 20 years. And I think we were all kind of blown away. Like, who does that, right? So right away, Eric Lofholm stood out in my mind as an extraordinary human being. And so he offered to do that in service of this movement, or this being movement. So I want to let you know that Eric is my business coach, and he asked me to do this. So I gladly said yes, that he would have the trust and faith in me to do this every Sunday for I don't know how long, but I'm really honored. So thank you, Eric. Let's see. Okay, I wanted to share a reminder of why we study being. Why do we study being? You know what? I don't know if I can see comments, but I'm going to keep trying to look for them. So, so the first reason we study being is to discover our true potential for life. One of the things I learned as an early yoga student and teacher is that there's always more. There's always more to learn. There's always more to grow. There's always more to experience. And some of that was related into, in our yoga practice, as we were practicing, we could stretch further, we could contract more. There were all these things that we were doing physically, but really it was a mental exercise as well. Well, the second reminder or reason we study being is to raise our consciousness, which affects others, right? So if we're raising our consciousness, we're helping our families raise their consciousness. And we're making it smooth for people around us to just to be themselves, So, and the third reason is, I believe, is to leave a legacy of love, because that seems to be the biggest theme here in the Ultimate Coach Facebook group is this theme of love, and everybody is so loving and supportive and encouraging, and it's rare to find that. It really is. Now, EPEC yesterday talked about the 3 distinctions of being. And this is something Eric talks about in a lot of his programs. So if you've been in Eric's programs, you've heard this, and you'll hear it more because it is just a part of this understanding. And the understanding is that there are 3 distinctions of being. 1 is that we're always being. 2 is that we can observe our being. And 3 is that we can shift our being. This is a yogic concept, I want to tell you. I sort of kind of learned this a long time ago. However, there's always more. So the goal of yoga is actually to direct and focus mental activity. I don't know if a lot of people actually know that that's really the goal of yoga. Some people think, well, it's union with God, which, yes, of course, it's to live life more efficaciously, more joyously, and all of that. But really, when it comes right down to it, it's to direct and focus mental activity. In other words, manage your mind, master your mind. And that's a big theme here too. So love and mastery. All right. A few other ideas that Eric has mentioned in a lot of this work that we're doing together in the speakers group is that being implies choice. So it's active. In other words, it's not passive. You don't just be and you can never change. You can definitely change. I was writing a script or program on love mastery and the art of being, and I was listing all these things of the way we be throughout our lives. We can be moody. We can be bitchy. Sorry about the word. We can be friendly. We can be shy. We can be outgoing. We can be introverted. We can be nasty. We can be judgmental, envious, jealous. There's so many ways we can be, right? And I had this whole list so that we could kind of see, all the different ways that we can be through life. So one of the examples I know that Eric has shared with us is that you could say, I am angry, or you could say, I am being angry. Like, you don't have to make anger part of your identity. So that's what we mean by it being active, that you get to observe your thoughts and your thinking and your feeling, and you get to decide. I know this happens with me sometimes when I'm moody. or in a mood, because I'm not really a moody person, but if I'm in a mood, I really check in and go, what is wrong? Why are you feeling this way? Could you pull out of this? Could you maybe take a 5-minute nap or reset or something like that? Um, Another idea about being is that we could let go of the past. We could let go of past hurts, of past offenses. We don't have to hold people accountable for their unconscious thoughts and choices. And the same with us. We can forgive ourselves for things we've done in the past, for thoughts we've had in the past, that kind of thing. We can also tap into our greatness. So Eric likes to say this quote, and I love this quote. It's one of my favorites. There's a version of you that you have yet to meet. What does he or she look like? That's my question to you. There's a version of you that you have yet to meet. And I absolutely love this because it implies that it implies growth, right? That there are many versions of ourselves that can come forward if we allow it to. And the next idea is that being impacts relationships. So we could be in a relatively happy marriage and it could still be better. There's always more. I will say that one of the things Steve Hardison has encouraged me to do, just through listening to him and listening to some of his talks, is just, how can I be better? How can I be more loving? What can I do to really surprise and delight my partner? How can I make him feel like the top of the world and lift him up and encourage him and be his best friend? And so I really do try to do that. And I think we've had a really good marriage all these years, and yet it can always be better. That's just what I think about it. And I think it could be better with our children too, and our friends. So another idea about being is that we can declare who we are being. And this is where the declaration comes in. So our I am statements. A lot of people in this group, I don't know if you're new to this group. Oh, hey, Wayne. If you're new to this group, a lot of us have worked on what we call a declaration. This is who we declare who we are. They're not affirmations, they're statements of who we identify with, how we identify. And for example, I identify with love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, among many other things. And these are not things that define my roles or anything like that. So we can create a declaration for ourselves and we can live into that. And we use it as a place to come from and to create from. And then there's perspective and understanding. So we can agree to disagree, or we can just say, you know what, this person has her way of thinking about things, and I have my way of thinking about things, and they're different, and that's okay. And then the last thing is that we can see the gold in others. And also, I don't want to say this is the last thing, because I think there are more ideas that can come from being, and but seeing the gold in others, this is a concept too that I had learned in yoga, was like looking for the beauty in others, looking for the best, because every human being has this spark. And when we look for the gold in others, it makes us realize that everyone's important, everyone's valuable, everyone has a story behind their eyes. And so if we make that a practice, we are being loving, accepting, not judgmental, open to seeing more, because there is more. There's more to see. We are malleable. We can change. And we can reveal our best selves. And the goal is not perfection. The goal is just to be who we are, but be the best version of ourselves that we can be. Because ultimately, we are going to leave a legacy, right? It's going to be some kind of legacy. It could be a good legacy, a phenomenal legacy. And that's what I'm striving for, is the phenomenal legacy. And we start here in our hearts. That's what we do. So we're human, but we can leave speckles of gold behind us. I call it love gold. So that's my introduction today, and thank you for watching. If you're watching on the replay, go ahead and put pound replay in the comments. If you have any thoughts or questions, feel free. And happy Sunday. So look forward to seeing you next Sunday. And I know what I'm going to talk about, and I'm very excited about it. All right, I'll see you then. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching.